Hello and welcome. This is from the CBN. I'm Misi Dada. The core mandate of the Central Bank of Nigeria, as spelled out in the CBN Act of 1958, include issuance of legal tender, banker and advisor to the federal government, lender of last resort to banks, maintenance of external reserves to safeguard the international value of the currency, promotion of monetary stability, and a sound and efficient financial system. In order to discharge these duties efficiently and effectively, the bank must have credibility within and outside the country. The visit of a delegation from the Central Bank of the Gambia to the CBN headquarters, Abuja, to study and acquire knowledge from its policy and management practices earlier this week attests to the positive reputation of the Central Bank of Nigeria among its neighbors and in the international community. So today on the program, we have for you details of the two-day visit, as well as the two-day CBN fair, which held simultaneously in two states last Thursday, plus testimonies of the CBN Agribusiness Small and Medium Enterprise Investment Scheme AGSMEIS beneficiaries from the southwestern part of the country. Stay tuned. Governor of the Central Bank of the Gambia, Mr. Bua Saidi, led 7 other top officials of the bank on a two-day visit to the Central Bank of Nigeria, Abuja, on Tuesday. Mr. Saidi narrated to the CBN Governor, Mr. Godwin Emefiele, and the CBN management team who received the delegation how the Gambia was able to survive the COVID-19 pandemic as a country. He described the banking sector in the Gambia as being stable, sound, and profitable, with assets growing in spite of the impact of the coronavirus and the liquidity ratio significantly above the minimum requirement of 30%. The CBG governor thereafter got to the purpose of the visit.
When I took over, I realized that first we need to restructure our central bank. And when the restructuring took off, we got the document ready. By end of June, inshallah, we'll have our board meeting to implement the recommendations of the committee on restructuring. I am saying this because I ran the idea by the IMF first rep in the Gambia. And he said, oh, Governor, you should send this to the IMF first so that they give you comments before you implement. I said, Momodu, I'm not sending anything to the IMF. I'm sending it to CBN, followed by a visit, and then we learn from that. He said, no, you should send it to IMF so that when they implemented theirs, the errors they made, they can point that to you. I said, that would be a third party. I'm sitting with my brother and he'll tell me what they've gone through. And that's why we are here. We really need assistance and exchange of ideas on IT modernization, applications, and cyber security, and also how to investigate cyber crimes. Another area is legal. There we need to exchange ideas on legal compliance. In terms of the financial sector supervision, regulation and supervision of cyber risk is an area that we are interested in. Fintech also is a new area, how you do supervision and regulation in that area, stress testing. And also we want to learn from you how you move from Basel I to Basel II and III, and policies and practices on outsourcing and other areas. So these are areas that we need assistance, currency management also. Right now, we have a situation where we are running very low on currency. We realize that you print your own currency, and I asked about security, and he assured me that you have top of the line security features. So this is another area I would want us to exchange ideas and have discussions on how possibly, if we decide to go with you, how we can collaborate with your assistance to be printing our currency.
Responding, Governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Mr. Godwin Emefiele, observed that there are many areas of possible collaboration between the two central banks. He, however, noted that Being the largest economy in Africa and also having the largest population comes with its own peculiar challenges, which makes Nigeria's current reserves of about $34 billion considered inadequate given the size of the economy and the level of day-to-day economic activities in the country, compared with the Gambia's $402 million reserve. Mr. Emefiele said the CBN is daily confronted with the issue of supply management, adopting currency adjustment when necessary, and demand management strategies to help curtail imports and encourage local production of goods for the growth of the economy.
So we try as much as possible to give incentives to those who can produce those, particularly food items in Nigeria, rather than resort to the importation of those items. We go to the point of making available to them through our deposit money banks preferential pricing for some of the facilities that can go into the area of agriculture and the rest of them. And I would say that in the last 5 years it has helped us, and we're doing everything possible to diversify the base of our economy. By the time the refinery goes into operation by around the first quarter latest next year, and also the petrochemical plant that produces polypropylene and polyethylene granules also goes into production early next year, we would have reduced our importation by at least close to almost about 35% of our imports. So those are some of the things we are trying to do to see to how we reduce, diversify the base of our economy, looking inwards for production. Luckily, Nigeria is endowed. Nigeria has crude oil, Nigeria has gas. For fertilizer, for petroleum products, or even for also the production of petrochemical products, you just need either crude oil or you need gas. And that is the reason, leaning on the words of our president that we should look inwards, we decided to encourage companies like those to look inwards and bring in plant and equipment. We made sure they got the foreign exchange they needed to import those equipment that they need. And I'm sure with almost 100% raw material locally, you can see that will really help strengthen our economy. In the area of foreign exchange management too, there are a couple of things we can share, ideas we can share about how we can help ourselves. And whether we like it or not, we must put our foot forward first to help our country before expecting others to come help us. And that is a mantra that our president has adopted, and that is what we are following through on. Because a country of a population of over 200 million people, we believe that Nigeria should be secured in terms of food security, and that is why we are aggressively looking into the area of food. We are looking into the area of where we can use our own available raw materials to produce what we need in our country. And we believe with time, Nigeria will really be a greater country than it is today. We don't think we are great yet, because we have a high import dependence in the country, and we are doing everything possible to reduce imports. But like you know, when we're able to reduce imports, we encourage exports, encourage consumption, spending, and investment. Those are the items, those are some of those parameters that will ultimately boost our economy, so that we can continue to see rapid growth in our GDP, and then see prosperity for our people. On banking supervision, yes, there are Nigerian banks in the Gambia and the Nigerian banks in different part of West Africa, or even in Africa. Yes. And we have established the College of Banking Supervisors, where we share ideas with banking supervision in those territories where our Nigerian banks are. And I'm sure that there are a lot of things that we can learn from each other or impart on each other on banking supervision. Well, I think on the issue of central bank independence, I thank you for those kind words. But I think the point is that we thank our own parliament. Our parliament has been extremely supportive of the Central Bank of Nigeria. They put in place a Central Bank Act that grants independence to the Central Bank of Nigeria. And we have also our Banks and Other Financial Institutions Act that also grants a lot of powers and authority on the Central Bank of Nigeria to bite when we find recalcitrant, or we find people who want to take advantage of the system for their own personal benefit. And we don't breed any nonsense about people trying to take advantage of our systems for their personal benefit. Everything must be done, keeping in mind overall national goals and national objectives.
The CBN governor, Mr. Emefiele, assured that the bank has done a lot to build capacity and that the Gambian delegation will benefit immensely from this to increase their depth of knowledge during the visit. The Central Bank of Nigeria had also recently signed memoranda of understanding with the central banks of Liberia and Sierra Leone on the opportunities of monetary policy collaboration and helping to deepen trade ties between Nigeria and the two countries.
Up until a few years ago, Nigeria produced far less than it consumed, spending up to $22 billion annually on importation. Then came the import policy by the federal government. Now, to survive, the nation must learn to be self-sufficient. And so far, we are on the verge of achieving this through the intervention of the Central Bank of Nigeria and other stakeholders in support of local farmers and efforts of value chain entrepreneurs. Now, the goal of creating 10 million jobs in 5 years through 10 commodities is gradually being actualized. Let's buy Nigerian to grow Nigeria.
Welcome back. You're still watching from the CBN. A week ago, the Central Bank of Nigeria held a 2-day fair for stakeholders in Lagos and Ogun States simultaneously. While giving an overview of the fair, Acting Director, CBN Corporate Communications Department, Mr. Osita Nwanisobi explained that it was an avenue for interaction with significant stakeholders about the policies and intervention initiatives of the Apex Bank.
We also want to build confidence in our financial system and to reassure us that the Nigerian financial system is stable, it is sound, and it is safe. I think that is actually very important. But more important is for us to listen to you, to get your views about the activities of the CBN. Because this feeds into our policies as well. And if you remember, when the governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria assumed duties on the 4th of June 2014, he made a profound statement. And he said that his vision is to build a people-centered central bank. And you cannot build a people-centered central bank if you do not now begin to listen also to the people. See how the policies and our interventions can speak to the people. And if you look at the interventions that the governor has come up with, these are interventions that speak to the needs of average Nigerians. And I'll give you just a few examples. You take the targeted credit facility that came in as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic to cushion or mitigate the adverse impact of the pandemic across families and households and businesses. Now you look at the AGSMEIS as well. These are people-centered interventions. And for the first time in the history of this nation, you will go to banks to collect facilities and nobody asks you, where is your house? Where is the collateral? Where is that? Yes, of course. I know that there are issues also around it, and that's why we interface and then also interact. I've had a number of persons say that I've applied for a while, I have not gotten it, and all of that. And one can understand. I know we may not be able to answer meet all of your needs, but the question is that we are making tremendous effort to meet your needs. And You see, if you look at the TCF, for instance, when we started off, we said we are putting 50 billion. We were overwhelmed. We moved to 100 billion. We were still overwhelmed. We moved to 300 billion. We are still overwhelmed. And just at the last MPC, the governor said we will move it to 400 billion. And as we speak, we have over 1 million applications. And so you can understand. And so when I hear that, I say, look, yes, it is respected. If you look at the MSME, Micro, Small, Medium Enterprises and Development Fund, we said we were putting out 220 billion. At the time we were doing that, Sweden told us that we had in Nigeria about 37 million MSMEs, and the financing gap, as at 2012, was about 9.6 trillion. So you would expect that people will say, I applied, and I didn't get it. You would expect it. But we'll continue to do our best and try to see how we can meet the needs of the Nigerian people. Why Central Bank getting into some of these interventions? It's essentially because of what I would say, failure of the market. And so when you say failure of the market, you probably will be looking at the inefficient credit market, where if you allow the market to allocate this credit, that will be suboptimal. And now you begin to see certain sectors where nobody will want to go to, like SME, like agriculture. And so Central Bank steps in to say, look, we can turn agriculture to be a business. And you can actually lend to agriculture. And people will pay back because it is a business.
There were presentations from the Consumer Protection Department, the Currency Operations Department, the Payment System Department, and the Development Finance Department of the Central Bank of Nigeria.
Make I tell you that the thing where consumer protection they do, we no dey here. We dey visit all the banks on our own. We go enter bank. Some of us get plenty card. No be say we get money. We get many cards. To do wetin? To compare services wey dem dey offer. We go enter banking hall. We go do like say we be their customer. We call it mystery shopping. We go enter, we no go tell them. Any charge that is high, we tell the bank, make them return the money to una. I know say many people don't get credit for their accounts. If you no reach million,
it's becoming apparent that payment system is the future of banking. It's the future of the financial system. So today, I want to touch on what I will call the future of the financial services. Before we go on, I don't know if any one of us have heard of PSB 2020. PSB 2020. The V there is vision. What it's talking about is how do you envision the future? So the central bank in 2004-2005 sat back and said, how is the financial system going to look like in 2020? That's where that PSB 2020 came from. So it's a vision. It's a vision of what the future will look like. Why am I bringing it up? Because the central bank has also sat down and looked at how is the future of the payments going to be in the next 5 years. And I tell you, we have prepared for the future. If you go to CBN website, we have a place where payment system is. We've released about 4 framework that is addressing the future. Even if you go to advanced countries, you won't find those things there. I'm telling you.
The Development Finance Department enlightened attendees on the 3 ways through which the CBN intervenes in the economy. These are through policy intervention, institutional intervention, and intervention through programs and credit schemes such as the Targeted Credit Facility (TCF) and the Agribusiness Small and Medium Enterprise Investment Scheme (AGSMEIS). Day 2 of the CBN Fair was entirely for the question and answer session, and we hope to bring you that in subsequent episode of the program. But for now, let's share with you the testimonies of the Agribusiness Small and Medium Enterprise Investment Scheme (AGSMEIS) beneficiaries from Ogun States in the southwestern part of Nigeria.
My name is Akonde Samuel Oluwaseun. I am from Oyo State. I am into agribusiness, greenhouse agriculture to be precise. My business is located in Ikirun, Osun State. I benefited from the CBN AGSMEIS loan, which was introduced by the Central Bank of Nigeria. I received a sum of 1.5 million naira, and I was told by my neighbor. I went to the bank to verify the authenticity of the loan, and it was true. So I went for the training, I went for the interview, and I was granted the loan. I received this loan in the year 2020, and I was really happy when I got this loan. I used this money to expand my business. Initially, I had one greenhouse, and I used it to build another greenhouse. This has increased my income, my inflow, and I have been able to employ more staffs. Before I had 2 staffs, now I had 2 additional staff added to the ones on ground. Now I would like to thank the Central Bank Governor Godwin Emefiele for this gesture, and I also like to encourage other youth out there to key into facilities or other programs the CBN brings up or the federal government brings up. This will help improve the economy of the state and the country as a whole. Thank you very much.
Orúkọ mi ni Mr. Sikiru Iyọlá Akínọlá tó ń gbé tó jẹ́ ọmọ bíbí ìlú Òṣogbo. Mo ń ṣe block ní area Akọ́bọ̀pẹ́ ní East Bypass along Iléṣà Road. Mo ń ṣe block, mo dẹ̀ ń ṣe ring, mo dẹ̀ ń já yanrìn, mo dẹ̀ tún supply block fún àwọn tó bá fẹ́ kọ́lé. Business mi àdúgbò tí mo ti ṣe iṣẹ́ ọjọ́ Akọ́bọ̀pẹ́ area Òṣogbo. Mo gbọ́ nípa lóhùn kan ní CBN. Mo dẹ̀ sọ fún ọmọ mi kó bá mi ṣe. Mo dẹ̀ wádìí ẹ̀, wọ́n dẹ̀ ọmọ mi dẹ̀ bá mi ṣe online láì mẹ́ni kankan rí. Wọ́n dẹ̀ ṣe fún mi. Ọmọ mi dẹ̀ ṣe, wọ́n dẹ̀ nígbà tí mo lọ síbẹ̀ wọ́n dẹ̀ approve ẹ̀. Wọ́n dẹ̀ fún mi lówó yẹn. Owó tí mo fún mi gbà yẹn, wọ́n fún mi 500,000. Láì mọ̀ yẹn kankan ni wọ́n ṣe fún mi. Mo kàn lọ nígbà tí mo gbọ́ lórí láì mo dẹ̀ ṣe. So mo gbọ́ owó yẹn ní inú ọdún ìyá 2020. Ìgbà yẹn tá a gbọ́ owó yẹn gan kò sí kankan mọ́. Iṣẹ́ ti lọ ọlẹ̀ torí àríbí jáde àríbí lọ́bì kankan. Àwọn iṣẹ́ gan ò lọ mọ́, àdúgbò tá a gbà gan lọ́wọ́ kọ́sọ́mà àti náà tán. Ṣùgbọ́n nígbà tí a gba owó yẹn, ó tún mú iṣẹ́ yẹn tó ń gbèrú gbogbo àwọn òṣìṣẹ́ tá a ti lé lọ tẹ́lẹ̀ bóyá mọ́ ti wà bí iṣẹ́ nígbà tá a rówó san fún wọn. A tún rówó yẹn san fún wa, a tún gbòòṣẹ́ mi gan láti fún un. Nínú ẹ̀ a tún tọkọ̀ sí ọkọ̀ táwọn fi kó blọọkì táàrí tó ṣe tó ti kú rẹpẹtẹ tẹ́lẹ̀, a tún rí tó ń ṣe. Alhamdulillah, mo dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ gómìnà CBN torí wọn àmọ̀ wá rí wọn kàn sórí yẹn fún wa. Mo tún dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ ìjọba Buhari tí wọ́n fi kíní yẹn ṣàǹfààní fún gbogbo ọmọ Nàìjíríà. Fẹ́ni tó bá béèrè fún wọn, àwa rí lórí láyìn àdẹ̀ béèrè fún Ọlọ́run dẹ̀ jẹ́ kó ṣeé ṣe láì mọ̀ wá rí nígbà tá a mo ní kọ́ ọmọ mi ṣe, ọmọ mi dẹ̀ ṣe àdẹ̀ owó yẹn gbà. ó dẹ̀ kópa rere gan nínú ayé mi nítorí pé mi ò lè gbàgbé mo dúpẹ́ lọ́wọ́ wọn gan so gbogbo iṣẹ́ tí ò lọ tẹ́tẹ́lẹ̀ iṣẹ́ àyè lọ mo sì tún fi àsìkò yìí advice àwọn èèyàn tó bá jẹ́ furniture ni tó bá tàn tí ń produce tó lè ṣiṣẹ́ tó lè make nǹkan kan tó lè sọ nǹkan di nǹkan kan mo advice ní kẹ́ ẹ lọ síbẹ̀ káwọn náà béèrè àǹfààní ní CBN káwọn ìbílẹ̀ mọ́ ti jàgídàgé káàkiri gbogbo ẹ tó bá ti fẹ́ gbé tó bá ti ní iṣẹ́ ọwọ́ kó lọ rí kó wá sí kó lọ sí CBN wọ́n á help ẹ̀ pẹ̀lú àǹfààní yìí ó pọ̀ lọ fún tó bá béèrè fún kì í ṣe pé wọ́n mọ̀yàn rí tí wọ́n bá mọ̀yàn tí wọ́n bá ti rí pé oníṣẹ́ ọwọ́ lọ́yẹn tó ń ṣe nǹkan tó bí furniture ní ẹni shoemaker ní ẹni tó rò ó fi ṣiṣẹ́ tó bá ti ń lọ síbẹ̀ wọ́n á fún ẹ so mo àbá gbogbo àwọn tó ń ṣe jàgídàgé káwọn náà lọ sí ibẹ̀ kan lọ ṣe kán béèrè àǹfààní yẹn Ọlọ́run á ràn wá lọ́wọ́ so mo dúpẹ́ gan gidi.
That's all from the CBN this week. Remember to log on to the website of the Central Bank of Nigeria using www.cbn.gov.ng for further guidelines on how to benefit from any of the economic intervention schemes, or better still, locate the CBN branch office in your state for more information. Call the CBN contact center using the phone line below for your valid complaints. Local courage may apply. Keep sending your comments and contributions to the email address fromthecbn@gmail.com and follow us on the social media for updates and uploaded episodes of the program. Join us again next time. I am Liam C. Dada. Stay safe and bye.